The South American Andes are full of glaciers and snow-capped peaks. In the spring, the snowpack and the glaciers melt, filling the rivers and streams that form a landscape of numerous lakes and marshes. This is prime habitat for waterfowl. Rivers flow through the Patagonian desert to the ocean, where more waterfowl habitat is found along the coasts, channels, and fjords at the tip of South America. Large congregations of many species of waterfowl can be found depending on the migratory patterns of each species. About half of the world's bird species migrate, and many species of ducks and geese migrate within the confines of the South American continent. The spectacled duck is restricted to the very southern tip of the Andes, including Tierra del Fuego. In the late austral summer, these ducks migrate further north and east, more of a shuffle than a migration. They feed mostly on seeds, leaves, and stems of aquatic plants, but also some invertebrates. The crested duck is commonly seen along the shores of the coast or lakes and ponds. Its range is from Peru to the tip of South America. Its food consists of algae and aquatic invertebrates that it finds on large bodies of water. Crested ducks form monogamous pairs and are highly territorial, often fighting with members of their own species. Populations from the Andes breed from January to March, and those in the lowlands from October to December. 2 broods are common, and nests are on the ground and usually have 5 to 8 eggs. The Chilean wigeon gets its name from the Chilean island off the coast of Chile. This dabbling duck is indigenous to South America and breeds in Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. It's an omnivore, feeding on aquatic plants, grass, invertebrates, and algae. They form monogamous pairs and form a small breeding territory. The female lays 8 to 10 eggs, and the male helps take care of the young until the first molt. The coots are rails that pass off as ducks. This is the white-winged coot. Its distinguishing character is a rounded shield, the yellow thing on the forehead. The more common red-gartered coot is found in swamps and lakes from southern Brazil to Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina, and down to Chile too. The red-fronted coot has a similar range as the red-gartered coot, but is easily told apart by its all-red shield. The yellow-billed pintail is a duck that doesn't like large groups, as this couple demonstrates. It occurs in much of South America. It's wide-ranging in habitat types and can be found high in the mountains, on lakes, and in marshes, and down to the coast in rivers and lakes, and all in between too. Their nests are close to the water, and they lay 4 to 10 eggs in a clutch. The red shoveler is another dabbling duck, which occurs in the southern part of South America and reaches as far north as Peru and as far south as the Falkland Islands. That's quite a good-sized shovel there. That big bill has a filtering mechanism that permits the extraction of morsels of food from the water. Food includes eelgrass, widgeon grass, assorted pondweeds, herbs, algae, and of course, invertebrates that make eating all the more interesting. Red shovelers are big flock kind of ducks, usually seen in the dozens or hundreds. One very unusual behavior is when they pack themselves into a tight group and swim in a counterclockwise direction. In this frenzy, they are feeding while moving. This circular mass of whirling shovelers is still a mystery, but it is possible that the movement causes a vortex that brings up invertebrates to the surface. Now there are two small ducks from the Patagonian region that are difficult to distinguish. The female lake duck has a bright white stripe across the face. The distinction between female lake duck and Andean lake duck is difficult. Uh-oh, a cinereous harrier. Duck. The Andean duck female has a much darker head. The male of both species looks almost alike, like this. A duck especially adapted for the rushing, turbulent waters coming out of the Andes is the torrent duck. And there has to be at least one badass duck, and that's the black-headed duck. This duck doesn't make a nest, but it does lay eggs in the nests of other birds, such as coots, pochard ducks, brown-hooded gulls, and even birds of prey, which shows she is really fearless. There are 4 species of steamer ducks, all of which are in a single genus and occur at the southern cone of South America. 3 of these are flightless, and then this one that flies. The name doesn't suggest they taste better steamed, but because, when swimming, they flap their wings into the water, as well as paddling with their feet. They don't always use this turbo option. They do swim extra fast. Steamer ducks are big and tough, and often beat up predators like petrels, and can even kill other water birds many times their size. So don't pick a fight with a steamer duck. Steamer ducks are adapted to feed on shellfish that are found on tidal rocks and among kelp beds. Their strong and heavy bill helps them break the shells. Charles Darwin, on his 1833 trip to these waters, commented that their head is so strong that he could barely crack its skull with his geological hammer. Not so politically correct in those days, but he made his point. Darwin was intrigued by the 3 flightless birds he saw on his voyage in this region. He commented that the rhea's wings became sails, the penguin's wings became fins, and the steamer ducks became paddles. So how did they become? Let me think about this. Anyway, the Chubut flightless steamer duck is a rare species from the northern Patagonian coast. Don't ask why they're not found on lakes. There are 2 beautiful species of teal in Patagonia, the silver teal and the cinnamon teal. An endemic to southern South America, the Coscoroba swan is a rather small swan, but with that red bill and red legs, it's a lot more sexy. These swans feed on a variety of plant material, as well as aquatic insects, and even small fish. The black-necked swan is another Patagonian specialty, which is related to the mute swan, and yes, it doesn't say much. That's about it. Like other swans, it feeds on vegetation and invertebrates, but also fish spawn. Ashy-headed goose is another Patagonian specialty that breeds in the mountains and overwinters in the lowlands. It's a more terrestrial species and is a grazer, and it doesn't like to swim. A more common Patagonian goose is the upland goose. The upland goose is another grazer, and for this reason, the local sheep and cattle ranchers love hunting season. They can be found in huge flocks, and as you can see, the male and female look quite different.